Hello everyone. This is the final project of doing business in America, and for this project, I select the case of consoles of video games, and I saw with a lot of different teams, right? And but when I see the case of video games and also the brand Sony too, this caught my attention more. So why not talk about the business of the video games? In the last part of the project, I explained how the video games caught my attention and which console I used to play. And also, my boyfriend has a lot of video games. His room is plenty of them. He has a lot of consoles. But talking about the consoles of video games, imagine all the strategies that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft create and plan for the successful of their consoles and games. Just an interesting fact, and that caught my attention, and it's like an interesting story. It's just when Sony released the PlayStation 3, Nintendo launched the Wii 2 in the same week. The new console of Nintendo was in $250, half of the price of the PlayStation 3. So what do Sony to not lose money and sell the PlayStation 3? Well, the new console of PlayStation includes Blu-ray. So compared to standalone Blu-rays, which are sold for $900 to $1,000, the PlayStation 3 could be considered a bargain since it could play games as well, including some older generation PlayStation games. This is a big tragedy of Sony, and it was successful because my dad was one of the buyers of the PlayStation 3 just only for the Blu-ray. And for me, for my sister, it was very good, right? Because we have Blu-ray and also a PlayStation, right? When we could play Call of Duty or Just Dance. And well, that is one of the strategies that it's one of my favorites that I have read in the when I was investigating for this project, right? Uh, Also, for me as a Mexican, and with the type of change of dollar in a console of Xbox, PlayStation, now it's very expensive. They are like $200 to $600. It depends on the console, right? And in that console, they are not including the controls or the game, right? Just plus the game and the control. Imagine a game is like like $16. No. It's 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 very expensive, but imagine for me it's an expensive hobby, and also a good business if you think about it. In 2005, the used video game and PC game retail industry generated nearly 10.5 billion of dollars in revenue in 2005, a 6% increase over 2004. Of this amount, software sales totaled $7 billion, a slight drop from the 7.4 billion generated in 2004. Okay, and it's a lot of money. 155 million Americans regularly play video games, and 42% play for at least 3 hours per week. So that's a lot of people, a lot of American citizens playing video games, and also a lot of time wasted. And in 2009, the used game industry at 4.9 billion to the used gross domestic product attain to 10.5 billion in retail sales, and employ over 120,000 people. That is very good. So that's a lot of money and a big opportunity to encourage the economy of the United States. And any civilized country that wants to increase the economy and develop and sales of the video games can use this strategy too. And for the aspect or in the aspect of trade, well, it depends from where the consoles and games are made, right? Or if they are if they are coming to the country, because not all the countries have the same free trades like Mexico with the United States or with Canada, or just with or just like the United States with China or with Japan. So it depends, right? Maybe it's better to fabric the consoles of the country, right? It's something to investigate apart. Uh, industry. So we talk about the industry of the video games in the United States, right? But what about the Mexican industry? The Mexican video games market is of course through a reach of value like 20. No, I'm wrong. He's 1.1 billion dollars a year, a growth rate of more than 13% according to the market of competitive intelligence unit. It's not as big as the United States market, so but it keeps growing, right? The Mexican market has 55 million gamers that generate annual sales of 600 $70 million. A large majority of these consumers are playing games on their smartphones, while console and PC gamers represent only at 26% compared to the American players, right? The Mexican video games market is one of the largest in Latin America, a part of the United States, right? Well, the United States is not considered Latin America, right? But there are more than 100 companies producing games in Mexico, most of which are based in Guadalajara, Monterrey, and in the Mexico City. Many foreign game makers also they are also coming to Mexico to increase their sales and also to expand to another market, right? Because right now the U.S. is a very competitive market. Even the government of the Mexican government is contributing with the growth of this market. Sometimes it finances the travel of game developers participating in international game shows. That's largely because some educational institutes in Mexico use video games to teach complicated maths and science lessons. So, if you think about it, it's a good business. Video games right now is a new technology for the kids. If you see a kid in the supermarket or in the mall or in the street, in the car, is with the iPhone or is with the tablet. So it's playing games, and maybe it's not the console like the Nintendo or like the Sony's console, right? But in the future, it will be playing a console. I see that with my cousin. My cousin started with the iPhone, and now is playing a lot of video games in his Xbox, right? But video games is now the future. It's important to invest into the technology and also like Mexico invest video games involved in the educations in the institutes, so the kids will play more will be more attracted to the school and for study a lot to develop maybe a better video game for the school, right? So it's important to keep invest. It's important to invest in this industry for me that is my point of view. So I'm going to touch the presentation, and maybe we're going to see the same facts that I mentioned in the video. And thanks for everything. This course was very interesting, and they teach me a lot of how it's important, and the aspects of doing business in other country, and what aspects is considered. So and also I start to better my English. So thanks for everything, and for my part it's everything. Okay, bye, see you.